Good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's Nix. What's going on? How are you? Hope you're doing very well this morning. Happy birthday. Congratulations. And good morning again to you. This is now Cancer season. Happy birthday to those who are experiencing new solar returns. And congratulations to those who have survived the last school year and are now graduating, going on to bigger and better things. And also, my condolences to those who have experienced loss in the last few weeks. There has been a lot going on. It has been a very new type of thing going on where there is just less and less heart to pass around. So be careful how you pay your things forward, okay? Now, when I got up, I didn't pick a specific scripture, but I think I fell into the right one. As I mentioned the other day, I did run into Fire Engine 33, and that really just points to the ascension. For some reason, they lost Jesus for some years. He went up to a certain time, and then he was gone until the age of 33, and they didn't tell us what he was doing in the wilderness. Well, come to find out, he was studying just like us. He was learning lessons just like us, and making mistakes and getting rebuked and everything else, being chased, coming upon his own creation and things of that nature. So pardon us if there was a part in our lives that cannot be really explained, because we are much more like him than we'd like to really admit, especially when we like allow other people to narrate and dictate how we're putting things out, right? So I decided to go into Job, and Job 33 pretty much sets the precedent on how things kind of went, and how sometimes you have to navigate yourself back into your steps. You got to navigate yourself back onto the path, especially when you know you have a higher calling and you know everybody's watching you. And it's crazy when you realize that you're going to be judged a lot heavier for the things everyone else does, is because there were expectations put upon you. You set a certain bar at some time in your life, and for some reason you haven't been allowed to operate outside of that box. But when you look around, you're like, well, they get to do it, and they get to do it. And sometimes you get a little sour because you're like, hold up, it seems like I'm targeted here. Well, in a way, in a special way, it's annoying sometimes when you know you're being held above everybody else. You're like, why is everybody else allowed to get help with this? Why is everybody else allowed to fall? But it seems like I get the worst chastening the minute I even toe the line. And it gets a little problematic when you become a victim to your own circumstances, but you got to change it around and try to survive, right? And after a while, survival turns quite naturally into living and being able to self correct more than you would have before. Because you got to understand, you're not being punished. Sometimes God really does have a place for you, and He needs you to navigate in quite such a way so that you can be an example. Because if you become wayward, because you still got your free will, it's just that He wants to know that if He's tapping on you, are you listening? So when you feel that, hey, I'm not really allowed to do bad, and you get a little upset because your friends are allowed to suck and you just can't seem to do it without getting in trouble. That doesn't mean you're targeted all the time. Sometimes it really means God did choose you to do a certain thing, and He can't have you out here acting like everybody to the left and everybody to the right. I had to learn that the hard way in my wilderness. I can't just be doing what everybody else is doing, because The consequences are kind of more when you're supposed to be an example. Far be it from me to know that I was an example until I was made an example. So sometimes you can't get angry. You got to take it with a grain of salt and realize that he wanted something better for you even before you knew it. Before you even came on this here rock we call Earth, he knew he sent you here to do something, and he kind of had to beat you up a bit to keep you in place. And sometimes the beating up came from people who looked just like you. And then they went and did everything they said that you did. And they didn't get in trouble. Well, it's because they weren't held into that expectation. They were supposed to be doing something else. You have a specific job. Hope this resonates where it's resonating, because yeah, you're special for a reason. I don't know if you know this. It's the reason why you couldn't take the 3 lumps of sugar and they were allowed to take 5. It was a reason. It was a reason why they were allowed to, fall by the wayside. And the minute you started to falter, you got jacked up like, hey, you better get it straight. And you're like, hold up, hold up. Is everybody else allowed to be forgiven? Well, he doesn't really want you to be in the position where you're begging for forgiveness, because you, unbeknownst to you and me, we weren't supposed to go so low, and we're not allowed to, because he's picked us out to be certain people in this life, right? All of the disciples didn't get in trouble. So I might be talking to you, right? Some were supposed to get in trouble because he had long game for them. He had to change these things around. Remember that Paul and Saul situation. Paul had to get into a lot before he got rebranded as Saul, right? So we got to pay attention to our parts and not everybody else's part. I've got great word for you today. It's going to change the way you look at some words, and it's going to really make you think. Okay? So bear with me as I cook. As I cook. Bear with me. Got to get some. I'm trying to let my water warm up to room temperature, because for some reason it's a little different when you're not ready for cold water. Sometimes you're not ready for cold water. Sometimes you need it room temperature. I'm saying it out loud because I guess it needs to be said. There's a time for everything. Sometimes you have to have patience. And there are conditions under which we can accept the lesson. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. I mentioned the water because sometimes we can't accept certain things under certain conditions. Sometimes when we're under too much, or when we're shooting too low, we tend to not accept our purpose under certain conditions. So be mindful and use discernment. Pay attention to the way your body reacts. Pay attention to that subtle change in the wind when things happen, because this might be trying to get you into alignment, but because you're so used to the loud signs, the sirens, you're looking for the lights, you're looking for all these other signs, you can't get the very subtle things that are leading you right where you need to be. Okay? So let's get started. I keep forgetting to bring the scarf over here. Pardon me. Scarf. Where are they? They got a cute one too. I just refound this. So, yeah. Cool. All right. So, let's get on to Job 33. Job 33. By the way, if your kid has been showing you some things, trust me, Not only could it probably be projection from someone else, kind of this wishing either they had kids like yours, or they're trying to understand your kids, or they're just running their mouth about your kid, but the person who you made the child with. Now, depending on this person's knowledge and what they're able to do, sometimes they will throw direct energy at your child because they want your child to disturb your peace. Because if they were there, that's what they'd be doing. So they kind of throw the energy and have your child stand in their place. So be mindful of getting upset with your children. Sometimes they do not understand what is going on, but they are indeed being put in the middle. So use discernment and never touch your child in anger. Always be reasonable when handling your child because your child does not have the ability to read your mind. Okay? The child does not know what's going on inside. The only thing that that child know is when you touch them in the wrong way, the inappropriate way, when you're rough with them, and that is the thing that the child is going to remember. The child is not going to take into consideration your bills, your stress, your quarrel with mom or dad or whoever in your family dynamic. So be mindful. Do not touch your child in anger. Always touch your child in understanding. I don't know who needs to hear that, but that's the thing. Touch your child in understanding and not in anger, because you might teach a lesson that you did not mean to teach. Okay. So, here we are, Job 33. Wherefore, Job, I pray thee, hear my speeches and hearken to all my words. There you go. He's saying, listen. Behold, now I have opened my mouth, my tongue hath spoken in my mouth. My words shall be of the uprightness of my heart, and my lips shall utter knowledge clearly. The Spirit of God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. If thou canst answer me, set thy words in order before me, stand up. Behold, I am according to thy wish in God's stead. I also am formed out of the clay. Behold, my terror shall not make thee afraid, neither shall my hand be heavy upon thee. That's those gentle nudges. Surely thou hast spoken in mine hearing, and I have heard the voice of thy words, saying, I am clean without transgression. I am innocent, neither is there iniquity in me. Behold, he findeth occasions against me, he counteth me for his enemy. He putteth my feet in the stocks, he marketh all my paths. Behold, in this thou art not just. I will answer thee that God is greater than man. Definitely. Why doest thou strive against him? For he giveth not account of any of his matters. For God speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth it not, being hard-headed. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed. Then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction. There's the download. That he may withdraw man from his purpose, and hide pride from man. He keepeth back his soul from the pit, and his life from perishing by the sword. Those are the gentle nudges in which you get the instruction. However, some of you just say that they are dreams or coincidences. God makes no mistake. He is chastened also with pain upon his bed, and the multitude of his bones with strong pain, so that his life abhorreth bread, and his soul dainty meat. His flesh is consumed away, that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. Yea, his soul draweth near unto the grave, and his life to the destroyers. If there be a messenger with him, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to show unto man his uprightness, then he is gracious unto him, and saith, Deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be fresher than a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray unto God, and he will be favorable unto him, and he shall see his face with joy, for he will render unto man his righteousness. He looketh upon men, and if any say, I have sinned and perverted that which was right, and it profited me not, he will deliver his soul from going into the pit, and his life shall see the light. Lo, all these things worketh God oftentimes with man, to bring back his soul from the pit, to be enlightened with the light of the living. Mark well, O Job, hearken unto me, hold thy peace, and I will speak. If thou hast anything to say, answer me. Speak, for I desire to justify thee. If not, hearken unto me, hold thy peace, and I shall teach thee wisdom. Amen, Selah, so let it be. That is Job 33, the whole entire verse and scripture as it is according to these writings. You can't really make these things up, especially when you can read it, okay? So it's very much instruction, and it basically touched upon what I said prior to reading. Morning, Alex. Good morning. Okay, so he just woke up, so he wasn't here for that part of the child. So like I said, touch not your child in anger, but in understanding, for your child does not understand what is going on the inside of you, okay? And there is no ransom for the knowledge. It is no ransom for the knowledge. You have to go to God in order to get such instruction, or wait upon him, because a lot of us don't wait upon his instruction, and we lead our own self into disaster, and then take sword towards mankind because we've tried to lead ourselves upon our own understanding, not even going into great counsel and having the wherewithal and the patience to wait on the Lord. Okay, so this is my teaching board this morning. This is just something, an old message that I showed a while back. Y'all, they wanted to see me like this, but this is how it's gonna be, right? This is how it's gonna be. No more lies. This was shown a while back. I never erased it. It just got a little disheveled at the time. But it's something I wanted to write down. It's a word. Bear with me. I'm going to change the way you look at this word with one letter. And then I'm going to explain the spelling and the understanding. Let me get a tissue because this is a dry board. Also, let me pour Alex some water, because the first thing you're supposed to do is drink water when you're first getting up, right? Yes. It's cold, so you might, I don't know. You kind of do the same thing I do when it's cold. There you go. So we got our water, right? Today I'm drinking green tea and mint tea mixed together. I wanted some taste. I wanted a different taste, and I also wanted that minty flavor. So I got green mint. Green mint, that's for anybody who's it might resonate. Somebody might wear mint green today. Who knows? That's pretty. That's a pretty color. That's a good color. I'm good at picking color palettes for chakras. I'm really good at that. I've always been really good at picking color palettes when it comes to reflecting on the inside. So that might be something I'm thinking of. Gotta get this. Oh boy, when you don't wash off your dry eraser, your little dry board for a while, it kind of does stain, but it does come off. A little bit of water will never hurt anybody. Okay. That's the right marker. Okay, it is. Okay. So, this word, I'm going to leave a little space because I'm going to change the word in a minute. Okay. Gatekeeping. When we think of the word gatekeeping, we're thinking of a person or entity who has ownership of a certain environment or just a pathway, right? We think of a person who owns the land, who owns the environment, who's able to use a mechanism called a gate in which they can close the door and open it depending on who they want to have access. Now, pay attention because I'm going to use one letter that's going to change this whole thing. Can you guess what letter it is? It's not going to change what it says. It's going to change what it means. So I'm going to insert this one little letter here. Did you guess what letter it was? You're right. I. So when you think of the word gate, a lot of us think of the mechanism that closes and opens, right? A lot of us don't think of the word gate. And the explanation of the word gate with the letter I added into it is the way you walk, your paths, the steps that you take in order to get where you're going, and the style in which you do it, your gait, right? Your gait. So when you look at the gatekeeping with the I included, that's your intelligence, right? So when someone wants to gate keep you, they want to control your pathways and your intelligence. They want to control the way your mind thinks and the way you would lead yourself. For a lot of people who are not able to afford the gate without the I, they begin to gatekeep people in close proximity to them, not understanding that they are trying to oppress someone who is much like them. And this is when the common man starts to try to oppress people in their own environment, in their own neighborhood. Just because they got close and they were able to sit next to a person, sometimes people will try to gatekeep you. They'll try to follow your steps, copy your style. Some of them will even attempt to manipulate your steps so that you don't take them quite well, so that they can come in and backdoor you, using a lot like what you just did, but they tried to do it better than you. So pay attention to gatekeepers. And it's weird when you have a gatekeeper that's around you that does not understand that their attempts at gatekeeping you is a form of oppression. And when you have a person that's basically coming from the same environment as you, attempting to gatekeep you, and you understand that this person is trying to gatekeep you not because they should, and not because they're original, it's because they have nothing else to look forward to, so they're going to watch you. And that is a form of oppression that is done in a lot of neighborhoods, because some people can't follow their own steps, so they decide to follow your steps. And then they attempt to oppress your steps because they like your steps, but they want to do them before you. So they want to take control over your steps. There's that crab in the barrel mentality. So you have to understand when some people are trying to oppress you and it doesn't look right, because You're oppressing someone that's doing exactly and trying exactly the way you should. But the thing is, you're taking their steps to oppress them. Right? So pay attention to those who would try to GAITE gatekeep you. And another thing I wanted to point out in there is the A and the I. It's artificial intelligence, whether it's on the computer or not, because it's not your intelligence. So it is artificial to you, so it won't really fit your thing if it's not your thing. And this is where we get a little dangerous in the situation here. Some people are so down bad and oppressed that they are willing to snuff you out to take your thing so it doesn't seem so artificial. And when poor people get bold like that, it's very dangerous. When oppressed people get bold like that, it's weird because you don't go to the actual gatekeepers, the ones with the real things that you should want to copy. You go to someone that's in close proximity to you and you try to oppress them because you say, I'm going to get out of the hood or out of this condition before you. And you have to be very careful with things like that because the elites will make a game out of you and that other poor person. And then it becomes a lottery. And they don't care. It's for shits and giggles. They're not the one actually applying the legwork to the thing. And some of these gatekeepers will go beyond boundaries and will start crossing and basically going above the law to gatekeep you because they know the elites love it. They'll make a TV series out of it, whether you go to jail or not. So we have to be very careful with helping and supporting and encouraging the gatekeeping amongst our own. It's a very dangerous game. And nobody really wins except the people at the very top of the food chain. So be very careful what you're feeding and what you're eating. Okay? The lab-grown meat goes way beyond description. You go to LabCorp, you go to doctors, you go to certain places, and you're only thinking about the steak and the chicken is lab-grown meat. But have you thought about all those dang petri dishes you've jumped on? Have you thought of how many times that you've experimented on yourself, not to mention all the other entities have experimented on you? I know, I just flipped the script on you. Some of you are still lab-grown meat, and you're only held together by artificial glue. That is that part. Hope I didn't expand your mind too much. So pay attention to the gate, GATE, that might shut, or the gate in which you walk. Can't be destroying nobody's else's path if you have none of your own. A lot of you have adopted other people's gate because you tell yourself that you are going to win with that person's design. But it's a reason why it's that person's design and not yours. We have to be very careful of people's intellectual property. You would love to have your things respected, but you have to remain cool and be conscious because it's the selective outrage for me. How dare you want your things respected while you disrespect other people's? And that has been that part. Let's get over to the tarot and have a bit of fun before we log off and go into our days. Because today is Wednesday. Mike, 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 Mike. Remember that camel hump? Just getting over the hump. Right, right, right. Do just have a great day today, and don't worry about the people that are shouting unintelligible things in the chat. Only they understand the torture in which they're putting themselves through. Some people don't get picked up a lot once they get born, certain things of that nature. Some of them got the flathead syndrome. It's okay. Somebody will pick you up one day. Either that or you learn to lay on your stomach and let the back of your head get some oxygen and reshape a little bit so that it has a little bit of room for some more intelligence back there in the occipital area of your skull. Release the pressure. Some of you need to hug yourself. Have you done that lately? Hug yourself. Stop waiting for someone else to come and give you something that you could feel. All right. Yeah, that part. So let's get on with it. We've got mental clarity coming straight out. We've got the magician. We've got some Mercurian energy. We've got manifestation through this. And we've got the high priestess coming out. I'm so sorry. But this is a beautiful spread straight off the top. Highly intuitive. Very mentally clear. Manifestation is on fleek right now. And the fact that the high priestess is here means that there is a lot of knowledge coming out. There's a lot of manifestation of togetherness and understanding at this point, and it's a lot of mental clarity. A lot of us didn't wake up with no brain fog. A lot of us didn't wake up on the wrong side of the bed. We woke up just right. Just don't allow anyone to come along and gatekeep you, whether it be through the closing mechanism or trying to misdirect your steps because they'd like to get into them. Some people love everything you do. They just don't like that it's you doing it because they feel as though it's their destiny to walk in your footsteps. Make that make sense. I've actually heard it a few times. She's living the life I'm supposed to live. He's doing the things I'm supposed to do. Well, think about it, breathe, come back again. They're doing exactly what they were guided to do. It's just that you liked it and you started to covet. And it got a little dangerous when you spoke out loud and said that they're doing the things that you are supposed to do. You wouldn't know if you weren't watching them. Some of you are watching way more intensely than you should. Some of you are watching some things more intensely than you watch your life, watch your kids, watch your bank account. Yeah, some of you are way more invested in things outside of yourself than the things inside of yourself. And I've seen some great people implode because they were watching the wrong things. Starting to sweat, so the water's starting to get better. Yes, I can finally take big gulps. That cold water was killing me just now. Sometimes you need it really cold, but your body lets you know. I'm going to get on to my tea. So with this didn't even put me, this just lets me know the mental clarity. It just lets me know that the vibration is starting to pick up. We're starting to pick up some kind of momentum here where everybody's starting to see clearly what's going on to the left and the right. It's not that you're meant to be oppressed. It's meant that God really slowed you down so that you can really open your eyes and pay attention before you take that next step. You never know who's watching. You never know who's actually planned something to trap you in the next step. Remember, for every level, there's a different devil. So once you get out of one thing, don't get too comfortable. Know that there is something right around the corner, and there's somebody else who's been watching, and they got plans for you. So make sure you plan for yourself before somebody else plans for you. Don't give people the opportunity to get ahead of you sometimes. You got to be a little bit more strategic as you get older because you ain't got time to keep doing the same things over and over again. Some of us need to know that. If you've been doing the same thing for over 10 to 15 years, that's not really a flex. That's a stagnation, a documented stagnation. You need to be trying to do something a little better, even if it's a little tweak, even if it's just adding a little something to your tea or just adding something to your exercise regimen or something. We should always be evolving and changing, even if it's taking something away. Sometimes you have to take things away from yourself in order to be great. And that's called a sacrifice in some people's thing. And sometimes I see it as growth. You have to add things and you have to separate some things in order to get to your full magnitude, right? We don't always find out the recipe right away. If you've ever been a chef or a cook, you've known that sometimes you go in and you undershoot the seasoning, because if you leave room for improvement, you could do that. But if you overshoot, there's a problem and you might have to throw the whole entire dish away because you already did your big one, right? So sometimes it's good to just ease into the thing before you get there. And for some of us, we're able to correct even the worst dish. Now that is what you call an alchemist. You ever put too much salt in something and then you realize you have to change this thing up because you're definitely not trying to be in the hospital or put anyone else in it? So you think just adding water is going to change that thing. No, the true alchemist knows exactly what to do per dish to change the paradigm and the taste in which we're going. So sometimes you have to change your dish midway. Sometimes a person will find themselves too salty, too regretting, too unforgiving, and you got to find a way to purge some of that salt. Well, some methods is just boiling and throwing away the overshoot. Some is just adding something that can absorb the salt. You got to use your discretion, right? But that's what happens when you're an alchemist. You have to learn. You have to get in your lab and see what works and what doesn't work. And you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to throw some dishes away and realize when it's not worth the try. You can't do it. You can't go forward. And that's knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold. That's it. So I'm just going to show you the cards from the spread and show you the numbers, because I'm always saying we got to be in co-creation with the creator. He's the best business partner you're ever going to get. You don't have to sign an NDA with him. You don't have to think he's going to go behind your back and show somebody the plans. He's going to always show two different plans, right? He's going to show you that, right? So you got the magician and you got the high priestess here, and that's the 1 and the 2, which means it's 3, and you're there with the creator. You, yourself, and I. You understand? You're all seeing I up there, right? So definitely hold yourself accountable as we go forward on this here rocket ship of knowledge. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Let's start in March because we have a 3 here. So let's start in March. We're going to start with let's start with the soul. We'll start with Pisces. I did do some thinking about the pressure points on your feet. At some point today for my collective, pull up a map of your feet and the pressure points and what's hooked to what. What is your heel hooked up to? What is your big toe hooked up to? And think about that map for a second. Take heed to it, even take a screenshot of it, refer to it every so often. Because a Pisces is identified by feet, by feet and soul. Soul, the sole of your feet, right? But as above, so below. So they're highly intuitive. In their brain, a lot of times you will see a lot of these points in your feet connected to your brain. Which parts, how they function, your emotions, your medulla oblongata, your cerebellum, your frontal lobe, all of these things are connected to points in your feet. So pay attention to the way you're stepping. Pay attention to the sensitivity. Where do you get reactions at? Uh, is it something in your heel? Is it something in your toes? Are you getting corns? Are you getting bunions? What's going on with your feet? Sometimes your feet do reflect the conditions of your brain. Take what resonates, right? Because we're starting in Pisces. And the fish that we most associate with that is the soul. The soul. SOLE, soul. But wordplay makes it SOUL, which is the soul, your internal mechanism, the thing that makes you you, the meat of your potato. You understand? So yeah, we're going to start with the high priestess, which usually starts here. This highly intuitive thing, we're going to start in Pisces because 1, 2, 3, we're in March. March starts off with Pisces and it goes into Aries, which is the leadership emperor energy. Okay. And so forth and so on. And this is why it's good for you to know the words and the lingo and the vocabulary, because if you're good and you revert words in which the way I do, you can understand that that could be very important in your path. Knowing and understanding the dual meanings of the word and the spellings of the word and the difference the spelling makes when you write that word down. Okay? Cool. So, boy, we're starting off like this. The binded person. So, in Pisces right now, someone's binded to whatever teachings of boy. Okay. Somebody got binded by the light. And I said it the way I meant to say it. I didn't say blinded. I didn't say blinded. This isn't Blow. That is a great movie. You could watch it. It has some things that you need to see there. But it's somebody is definitely binded by the light. They have attempted to control a situation and it was beyond their control from the beginning. However, they did not take heed and they ended up in their own trap that they set for someone else's feet. There's that gatekeeping energy there. Whether it be an I or A right now is very interchangeable because this person thought that they had the money to buy the environment. However, they found themselves as just a GAIT gatekeeper. A GAITE gatekeeper. They found themselves as that, even though they tried to be the GATE gatekeeper. Remember, there's a difference. One actually has some sort of control of the environment and the mechanisms thereof. One only has the illusions of being able to control themselves in an environment in the way in which they saw someone else's path and walkway go. They tried to adapt someone else's steps. So someone did find out that they were not the big G, but they were the little G, gatekeeping. And maybe they don't understand that, but they do find themselves binded to the decisions and the path in which they took. And this is the judge. Reverse the color. This is a African American person. This is a Caucasian person. That is the judge. Someone is binded to their decisions. More than one. Even if it is a male, this is the way they look. They are binded to their decisions because they decided to make less than manly moves. They decided to take direction from someone other than themselves. So they did make themselves The be made man. Okay? So take what resonates. Someone has binded themselves to their decisions. With veracity, because they had blind faith in their own selves and no one else. They told themselves that they knew better, they knew the rules, they could bend them, they could do whatever. So now they find themselves stuck in the ethers, I should say. Stuck in the ethers of their own minds and their own creations, and that is not a way to be. This can represent a mental prison, an emotional prison, and sometimes even a physical prison, depending on the degree in which this person carried out these plans. With veracity, I mean, they were really gung ho about it, right? Sword out and everything. Real spiritual anarchists, right? Now we sit here with our decisions blindly awaiting for judgment. But those of you who know, if you do not make cookies, why are your hands in the cookie jar? If you didn't buy any cookies, why do I see crumbs? Why are you trying to eat somebody else's cookies? Both figuratively and literally. My eyelash keeps turning into my eye. And I try not to put any mascara on my eyelashes this morning, which I didn't. I just used a liner. But that, I'm begging for that mascara now because it usually brings the eyelash out of my eye a little bit. But I didn't want to color over my natural color eyelashes. I just wanted them to stay that way. I like the gray one in particular. I enjoy looking at my gray eyelash. All right, so that was the Pisces reading. Take what resonates. There was only one thing to see there, and that was the Gemini, which means as above, so below, and reciprocal to the universe a lot of times. So they have to embrace the same way they embrace the idea, they have to embrace the consequences in the same exact way. Okay? So we've got the Hermit coming out here in Aries. Woo, somebody didn't like that. I felt your emotions. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Don't transfer none of that over here. You gotta sit in it. The same way I had to sit in my decisions, even when my decisions weren't quite mine, you're gonna have to take that same energy and keep it to yourself. Too bad. Too bad. So sad. All right. So we got the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, and we've got the Nine of Pentacles. We've got 9, 10, 9. That reminds me of jeans. Remember when we had the 9910s, what it was, a 9950 something? It reminds me of Levi's. For some reason, it's calling me to Levi's. Your jeans, oh, wordplay. I'm thinking jeans. Now I'm thinking jeans. Genes, the things that build you up, your etymology, your chromosomes, your DNA, your 23andMe, I should say, if anybody doesn't understand it, your genealogy. So here comes this Hermit card in the darkness with a flashlight, holding down a fort. Okay, then we've got this Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is indeed turning, and then we have this Nine of Pentacles here, which means that you're pretty much good in standing out the way as the wheels turn. And I see this owl on top of the staff here. Weird. Yeah, so we got this owl on top of the staff here. So there is a bit of knowledge and wisdom, esoteric, as to be specific. As the wheel turns, let me look. Oh shoot, I'm looking at characters around this wheel. And it looks like somebody, look right there at the bottom. Look. They're attempting to control the wheel as it turns. However, they find themselves at the bottom clinging on. Never paid attention to this guy before, but he's definitely clinging on at the bottom of the wheel, right in between the bull and the griffin. That is a wow. So if anybody understands the griffin is a mix up of a bunch of animals. It's a mix up of a winged animal and a lion. And I think it has the tail of a dragon or a snake or something, if I'm not mistaken. That's what a griffin is. And it's supposed to be a majestical type of situation. But the bull also has wings here. They're both holding books of knowledge. Everybody's holding a book. So for every 4 points of this occult knowledge, there are different variations of this type of knowledge. They call it forbidden. I call it esoteric. I call it knowledge that is not easily acquired unless looked for and researched for and dug deep for. And some of it definitely is uploaded through us our subconscious, depending on our genealogy, our etymology, and our family backgrounds, I'll say. So if your family has been steeped in certain knowledge, whether you like it or not, you will inherit this knowledge, whether it be through someone giving you and actually teaching you, or some of us have the great gift of being empaths. Some of us are hyokas. So we pick up on things, and for some reason, if God say we should have it, we go get it. Whether anybody puts it in our hands or not, if it is in our path and it is directly for our path, we should have it. There is no way to gatekeep what God wants us to have. And a lot of people do not understand that. I did not understand at first. Like I said, I didn't pick the cards. The cards pretty much knocked me in my head and say, hey, you got to use us because it's some stuff being done behind your back. And this is what they're using it with. And when I got to understanding, the same person who tried to spiritually bully me for getting a tattoo at 15 was the same person who would light a candle on my ass. It was so much hypocrisy. I'm like, not you. Not thou shalt do, thou shalt doubt. No, not that person. They told me that they really talked to God. Turns out he turned his back on you long damn time ago because he kept telling you something and you didn't listen. So here I am getting knocked upon, and he's like, hey, you got to do something about this shit because I didn't call for this shit. And I'm like, huh? What? What the hell is going on? How'd I get dragged into this shit? I was told not to do this. And here we are, full circle. The very person who basically gate kept ended up the gatekeeper, not understanding that they were going to be shut down upon because they went a bit too wild out that pasture. That's what happens when a sheep likens themselves toward the wolf, not understanding that they are still indeed a sheep. Watch out for the sheeple. I'm so silly. So, Aries, we are indeed finding out about ourselves and other people and how they will hide knowledge. And in the process of hiding the knowledge, because that was not the pathway in which they were given, they find themselves in the undercurrent of the wheel being rolled upon. And here we are in our knowledge. Does not mean that it's always a physical abundance that we're going to get. A lot of times God wants us to step into our spiritual abundance before he'll ever give us our worldly abundance, because he needs us to have more discipline than the people that he allowed to roam outside of the pasture before. They showed how they will eat up the things, and they will not share, and they will not be fair. They have become gatekeepers and oppressors to God's other sheep. So it's like, well, hold up. Did you forget you were a sheep? You started acting like a wolf. We can't have that out here. We can't have that. All right, so some people realize that they had the wrong dang idea. Have you ever seen a sheep turn around and start eating meat? Right, it's an abomination. That's not supposed to happen. And that's exactly what happened. Someone was supposed to be a sheep. They dressed as a sheep every day. However, they got caught beyond the pasture devouring people. I'm sorry, meat. Lab grown meat. The kids who have already been experimented on so many times by Fortnite, by Five Nights of Freddy, by Grand Theft Auto, by what Minecraft. They took the very lab meat that we had and decided to feast upon that type of meat. And here we are in this man-made catastrophe. So in Aries, we have to be very, very careful in the ways in which we lead ourselves, and we allow ourselves to be led, and we allow the children to be led from here on out. There are some things that they should be allowed to have fun and to have growth, and to see exactly what they will pick up on themselves. But leadership is indeed needed. There will be a changing of the guards very soon, because we do understand that there are some people that did lead the country, they led the neighborhood, they led the community astray because they fashioned themselves as gatekeepers, not knowing they were the GAITE keepers. So that is for Aries reading. We got the 9, 10, and 9, which is beautiful. So 9 plus 9 is 18 plus 10. And that brings us to 28, which will bring us to a round 10, which is wish fulfillment. As we go forward with our spiritual abundance, knowing that we have the knowledge to wherewith hold and make proper investments and not spend our worldly given inheritance being things that we are not. This is the example that we need to do going forward. We need to be very authentic in the way in which we lead, because we've already seen the outcome of the fake leadership. We got a lot of counterfeit starts. We got a lot of counterfeit celebrities. We got a lot of counterfeit leaders, people who would lead you to bedlam as long as they got money for it. And that's not the type of leadership we actually wanted, we needed. It did not do well for us. It just led us in infinity circles back around. It left some of you on government assistance for way longer than you should have been, is because a lot of you were led to get comfortable and told by certain parties and certain things, certain communities and certain boxes that you check, that this was the way in which you were going to liberate yourself. In some way, some sick people actually thought that this was reparations, just being able to steal from their fellow man and not understanding that's still stealing. So there are a lot of people that people were looking up to, and they're going to actually realize that the person who told them that they had to do right and obey the law were just trying to avoid being treated the same exact way that they were treating people, robbing people all the way down to the penny and redistributing them out into certain places to be taken more advantage of, because they wanted to build upon their wealth and they never wanted to see anyone come up out of the Great Depression. So you're going to find a lot of these people who went to these jobs and these offices, who ride by you looking down you, they're looking down on you and not really understanding. You're not really understanding. They're looking down on you is because they hope that you never figure out that they're just as low. They're lower than what you would ever have been had they not gotten a chance at the gate. Some of these people who are running around telling you you're broke, that this is that, and you can't have, and you're not this, and you're not that, they won't tell you that they tapped into something with your information and stole all your money. But they laugh at you openly. But they won't tell you that they're thieves, because they get to go to a job that they stole from someone else, with someone else's credentials, with someone else's bank account, with someone else's CPN, with someone else's everything. A lot of these people will laugh at you in your face, but they're hypocrites. And you need not even get upset because a lot of these people are thieves in your face. They're just licensed thieves. We have licensed 304s. Yeah, thanks for the correction because I almost said it. We have licensed 304s and we have licensed thieves. And it's crazy when you're going to find out exactly who these thieves are and realize that they've been looking down and treating you a certain way because they needed to keep you oppressed while they stole you blindly. They took everything from you blindly, while in the same sense telling people you had nothing, you were broke, you were crazy, you were promiscuous, you were this, you were that. They said that to you, not understanding that they were selling your information. They were trading your information like trading cards and looking in your face and playing. So that was the Aries reading, and that was a 10, which was, when you turn 10 into, you are the one. You are the one in your life. And you guess what? You are the one in their life that could have changed their trajectory had they treated you a lot better. But since we're here now you know the lesson. Now you can walk away and never look back, for you become a pillar of salt. Because Lot goes beyond just being that woman's husband. Husbandry of your own life, husbandry of your own garden, husbandry of your own property, your own things in this world. The world came out now. Oh God, the world came out. First, it was the Wheel of Fortune. Now, this is the world coming out. So, the world view is here, and these are the changes that are coming out in the world. And this is coming out in Taurus. And it's funny because the one at the bottom by the 21 is the bull. So sometimes you got to grab the bull by the horns and keep going. Even though there will be a lot of fighting, there will be a lot of push and pull. These people don't want to come out of these positions. However, we're here. We didn't disappear. We're still here. Now that I've given you the answers, go forward and grab that bull by the horns. The Wheel of Fortune is back out, and the Hermit is too. So we got 21, 10, and 9. 21 plus 10 is 31. Then we have a 9, which is bringing us to 40, which is bringing us to the 4, which is all our foundations will be rocked when this truth does hit worldwide. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the ones all over this world, the North, East, West, and South, because this is news. This is not only world news, this is good news to the ones who found themselves oppressed and didn't understand why they were so great at so many things, yet they couldn't get an opening into anywhere, was because someone tried to shut the gate. They tried to use your things, your knowledge, your funds to shut the gate. They told themselves that they would use your money to close, to fashion a gate and shut it upon you. This is what they told themselves. However, they had to gatekeep, GAITE, they had to gatekeep you in order to fashion these gates. But now that you know you are the true owner of such gate, I'm urging you to repossess. Remember when they hit you with it? Now it's your turn. Give me back my shit. I know you in there. So definitely do your credit checks, go through LexisNexis, go through Equifax, go through all of these channels. Look in the direction and do not be afraid to go through the channels. Do a background check on yourself. Look at what's in Credit Karma. Even though they give some crazy looking information, there are some things in there that they do hit and true. And a lot of people, when they do steal your credit, a lot of them are using Credit Karma. They're going through different ways. There's so many different ways. They're trying to run your stuff to see if it's worth it to get any money through it. You have to understand, some of these people are sitting in these offices. They hate their boss. So So they tell themselves they're going to oppress somebody who's a little lower than them, or they're going to oppress somebody who may not be paying attention or may have too many things to do. And they say that I'm going to fill this person's coffin with problems while I alleviate them of the things that were coming to them. And this is what you have to do. You have to look in every corner of your life. This is what actually brought me to the fruition. I said, hey, somebody doesn't want me to be me. I need to see who the hell I am so that I know who wants to be me. So now that I realized who the hell I realized I had to kick somebody out of my DNA. I had to kick somebody out of my makeup. I had to kick somebody out of my credentials. Because how in the hell did you get here? And why did you feel so boldly? So when I started combing through the layers, I understood the person and the mechanism in which made them so bold. So take some time and understand yourself and who the hell you are, because somebody undoubtedly, every time they see you, they're combing through the crumbs of your life and trying to eat you up. No doubt on white sandwich bread. Anyway, so let's go through Taurus. So we've got the world here, and the world just says that this is the world view. This is on a world view. This is on a big, big scale in which this is all being done. And the wheel of fortune is here, and it is turning. And someone right now viewing me is not happy because they're on the wrong side of the wheel. They're going topsy-turvy, much like this looks. Because the spiral happens when reality sets in, that their reality is indeed a manufactured reality, and you're there to change the foundation in which they have built upon. Here you are, shining your little light upon some truth. Look at the owl. Beautiful little things. Very, very wise. Sometimes you have to sit on a high post and watch for a while. It's not good for you to make a bit of noise. This is why owls are great nocturnal creatures. They understand under the moonlight, it helps their vision because of the way their eyes work. Sometimes we can't see things for the amount of light we're exposed to. Sometimes when you turn off the light and you use it in such a way, this is how you understand showbiz and stage lights and lighting, period. Sometimes the taking away of some light allows you to manufacture your own light in a way in which it illuminates things for you to see, because everybody doesn't have the same vision and the same perspective or the same angles. So sometimes you have to get some concentrated light because the overhead light has you looking at too much. Sometimes you have to take information just like the light. You have to take it in small bits, because it's not palatable if you're trying to take it all in, because it doesn't seem real then. But when you get a little bit at a time and you start to manage it a little bit at a time, just like this flashlight, it helps you to put the things together one piece at a time, because it can be overwhelming trying to absorb all of this information at once. And this is why it never comes out all together. It comes out in pieces. Just like God gives things to you, he never gives them to you in big portions, because he knows that you can't just break it down like that. So he gives it to you in a fashionable way, a palatable way, so to speak. All right, so that is that for the Hermit. The Hermit is, well, I'm so sorry, not the Hermit, the Taurus. This is a Taurus reading. So we have Jupiter and we have some Neptune here. So we've got a little clashing of the energies as we go forward, because some people were trying to think outside of a box that was still a box, and some people were put into a box that should have never been a box in the first place. Okay, so 2110, that is 20, what, that is 31, and then you add the 9, that is 40, which is the foundation. So some foundations will be changing, some families will be changing, a lot of structures will be changing, people will be reconfiguring exactly how they want to go forward in life, and that will include a foundational change. The way in which they were born and the way in which they were taught will definitely have to be unlearned and reprogrammed as they go forward and learn to live a better life outside of the gatekeepers. All right, then we've got the, woo, in Gemini. Okay, we've got the 3 of Cups, we got the 6 and the 9. You know what? I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna walk away. Oh God, I'm gonna walk away. So you got the 3 at the bottom of the deck, but let me show you what just came out. The 3, the 6, and the 9. The 369 method just popped out. For those who know, they know. The 3, 6, and the 9 method just popped out. Collective minds, equal give and take to the universe, coming out spiritually abundant. Some people getting physically abundant, but a lot of us really like this spiritually abundant, because once you're spiritually abundant, it unlocks a lot of things that keep you out of the rest of the abundance. Some of us are getting abundant in our skills and our creativity. Some of us are getting abundant in the way we're taking care of our kids. Some of us are abundant in health. Some of us are just abundant all the way around. And look, it's the 369 method. All right, Gemini. There's not a lot I have to say to you here because it's already been said. It's already understood. Does not need to be explained. And we have the 369, which this is beautiful, you guys. 18:9 divinity. So a lot of us have been in prayer. We have been in counsel with ourselves, meditation. We have gone within and we have come out. And we didn't come out without. We came out like, yeah, with our things. We went in and we came out with our things, and they ain't ready for the way we about to come and take the bull by the horns and reestablish ourselves as we have been all the time. Someone caught us off guard, and that's okay. Brush it off. It's okay. What is life without lessons? It's okay, but it's not forgotten. Never forget those people who played in your face. Never forget those people who told you your ideas were bad. Meanwhile, they were storing them so that they can use them for themselves. Okay. Never forget the people who tried to record you and tried to record you so that they could go back and use your words, as long as they decided they could hide you and make you go away and run off from the things that were given to you. Okay. Remember how they played in your face, and remember how you about to play right back. Only difference is you won't be playing. You'll be actually walking the walk you've been supposed to be walk that they tried to adopt. So that 3 and the 6 with the 9, that takes us to 18, which means it's divine. It's divinely guided. Your guidance is divine. He divinely guides your steps in a way that you can get back to yourself. Hope that helps, Gemini. This has been a beautiful reading. We have Cancer, Taurus, and Pisces. Take what resonates: Sun, Moon, Rising, Cancer, Taurus, Pisces in the Gemini reading. This means that you are a very well-rounded person. Doesn't have to be one of these signs, but just know it is in your chart. It is in your energy. You have these personalities, and maybe they're mutable, maybe they're not. But what I can say to you is, this is great. You have come a long way, and don't make your mistakes your standposts. Those are not things that you have to stay in. You don't have to stay there. Just remember who did it, what, when, who, and how, and keep it pushing. You don't got to go back. You can forgive if you want. We all don't know to the extent in which they went. All I know is you don't have to go back. You don't owe anybody anything. They already took what they was going to get. Let them collect an interest off of that. Nothing. Okay, so let's get on over to Cancer and keep going. It is 5:47 on the clock, 5:47 on the clock. I'm looking at 11:22 in front of me. That's always good to see two master numbers right behind another. That's beautiful. It's always beautiful because that means that there's somebody that's taking the steps, the necessary steps to come upon real knowledge and not an artificial intelligence. Okay, so we got the Page of Cups here. A lot of fishy, a lot of marine energy. Deep, deep, deep. Someone's deep in their feelings as they look at this cup. This cup was definitely fishy. Okay, Cancer, this is the Cancer reading. You was in your play area. I'm about to get to your things. Okay. Someone's been in the snack cabinet. Here, take these. I'll be the child. The child. Can you turn that down, sweetie? Yeah. Thank you. He's so sweet. All right, so we got the Page of Cups, we got Judgment, and the Three of Pentacles. So we got 23 here, which is a 5, which is unexpected changes. Okay, so whoever this is with this fishy cup, with this marine spirit, somebody stays in their feelings. And what happens is their feelings put them under judgment. And then we've got the Three of Pentacles. So whoever they decided to go and share the ideas with and their feelings with, they're under judgment too, because you share a lot of karma when you allow somebody to come to you with the bull crap, where you allow somebody to come and cry in your face about something that is a lie, and then you take up your pitchforks and you decide that you're going to go after whoever they were whining about, and now you're under judgment right with them because you had to share the karma, because you decided to share your ear space, you decided to share your pillow, you decided to share your pitchfork, you decided to go into your job, press this button, or unleash this information because you let somebody come crying to you and they be deep in their illusions. They made up a bunch of stuff because they were deep in their feelings, and you wanted to put somebody under judgment. But now, because you decided to put all your heads together to come against a person, now everybody's under judgment because you're sharing the karma of the person that was butthurt and knee deep in their feelings. Take what resonates. Sun, moon, rising, male or female interchangeably. When people get up in their feelings and they try to judge other people harshly, just understand that that's karma. That's karma building up. It's a buildup of karma, because sometimes they'll get instant karma from just stepping in. But when God sees that you're trying to do a big one, sometimes he'll let you build up the current in your life, because he's going to come like a wave, like a tsunami. You know how it builds up gently. Sometimes the wave goes in, it goes out, it goes in, it goes out. The next thing you know, oh, bam, and then you're hit by a wave, and then you don't know, and then you're looking all crazy like, what happened, where'd they come from? It's the power of the water, because you like to play with the water spirits, right? So sometimes water can be dangerous like that. It can break your damn neck if it wants to, but water can be just as gentle as the tide rolling in, and sometimes it could be as destructive as a tsunami. So pay attention to your water and the feelings in which you display. Don't let your feelings get the best of you, because I've seen a lot of people fall because they didn't know how to get out of their feelings. Somebody needs to come pick up their feelings from the curb. So someone's going under judgment. That has been the Cancer reading. It's 23, which is 5. So expect unexpected changes, all because you can't lead from your feelings. Those are things those are emotions. That's energy in motion. It's always changing. It's always interchangeable. So why would you make a very, very harsh decision based on someone's feelings? Especially when they're illusions, especially when a person is making up feelings. Some people don't have feelings. They just like to jerk people around because they have feelings, and they know they can play upon other people's feelings. Take what resonates. That was the Cancer reading. That did turn in from a 20 and a 3, and that turned into 23, which is a 5, which is very unexpected changes. Be careful of the messages. When a person is crying on your shoulder, sometimes it's not for you to take action. Sometimes it's for you to be a listening ear. And sometimes you need to just say, shut up. What are you crying for? You do more damage than anyone could ever do to you. You don't have a right to cry. And some of you guys always allow the damn victim to cry, knowing that they the damn suspect. Yeah, I'm looking at you like that. So we got the Two of Swords and we've got the Four of Wands, and this is Leo. Someone's going to have a blind faith decision, going to make a blind faith decision about their foundations, and they need to be quick about it. They need to be serious about it, and they need to be as voracious as about it as they were when they made the other decision. Okay, so that's for Leo, and that was really quick. I'm very surprised that that just went by like that. I feel like a newscaster sometimes when I take this tone of voice and this cadence, but I like it like this. This is great. It's very even. So Two of Swords and Four of Wands, and that comes to a six, which is equal give and take to the universe. The answer is yes. Anyway, so Two of Swords, Four of Wands, Knight of Swords. I hope that doesn't hurt you too bad. But for some reason, I feel like you shouldn't get mad at things you already understand. You just need to start moving accordingly, and don't ask that question again, because when you have the ask, you kind of know. All right, so Two of Swords, Four of Wands, Knight of Swords, yeah, that sort of thing. Very intuitive, Libra energy, very much justice. Yeah, that part, what I said was very true. We got Libra and Aries, so you got to be careful with letting a Libran type of energy be the leader, because when you have a leader that is very indecisive, they will make you make decisions by default. Okay, so I'm just going to say this: if you are with a Leo, and this is giving very much Libra energy, because Libras like to stay, they like to be everybody's friend to their own demise. They won't make a decision till the decision is made for them. So if you have a Leo with Libra elements and you know that they're very indecisive, just know that they allow other people to make decisions for them, and it doesn't usually go very well. They'll do stuff like cheat on somebody and allow you to find out, and that's when the decision will get made by you, not them, but by their actions. They've already told you they. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So that has been the Leo reading, and that's the 2 and the 4 with the 6, which is equal give and take to the universe. So be aware when you have a person that acts indecisive, they're not acting at all. They're allowing you to make the decision, and you need to be bold enough to grab the bull by the horns and make the damn decision. Don't wait for anybody to make a decision in your life, because you could be allowing some really horrible things to go on because you don't want to be the one to be the bad guy. Embrace the villain, dress it up. Pick cool colors. Trust me, this isn't any advice that I wouldn't give myself. Okay, so going forward, we got the Ten of Pentacles. We're in Virgo right now, and that's a Virgo card. Queen of Wands, Two of Wands. We've got Aries out here again. We've got some leadership that's under question right now. So we've got the Ten of Pentacles and the Virgo with the Mercurian energy. Oh my God, sometimes this little Mercury thing looks like a little demon, doesn't it? You see the little horns, like little beastie. So we've got the public recognition. We've got all these things. We've got the Queen of Wands with her self-indulgent self. And we've got the Two of Wands. So somebody's definitely thinking about their leadership skills or lack thereof. What did they lead themselves or people into? And this is coming out as Virgo, female, Aries. So there's a Virgo, sun, moon, rising, be it a man or a woman. Sometimes a man gets very feminine. He gets a little bitchy, but he says it's leadership. Whatever. A soft life for a man is being told what to do. You can't tell me nothing. It's the truth. Men don't like to think. They like to be told what to do. They like to have the resources there, and they like to go and do it. That is the soft life for a real man. For the other ones who get a little feminine at times, they like to try to lead because they tell themselves they're going to lead better than they're. How in the world? Remember how you cry out for mommy when things happen? Right. She's the leader. So thinking some other kind of way is kind of weird, especially when you know you've been leaning on your mom all this time and you want to be the leader in somebody's house, but you're on the phone with your damn mom all night. Make that shit make sense. Every time you have to make a harsh decision, you have to call your mom. But you keep saying you want to be a leader in somebody's house. But you keep being on the phone with your mom. Fuck is that? All right, let's go. So, like I said, the Ten of Pentacles, there's a Virgo, be it a man or a woman. If it's a woman, she does think she's a leader, even though she's probably haven't led herself to a lot of good lakes with a lot of wet water. Okay, she's probably led herself to a couple of little lagoons and shit, and probably got choked up on a couple of algae and thought that that was greens, and then they thought that they were vegan, and it was a lot of illusions cast over there. Good God, walk it back, walk it back. All right, sea moss, anyone? 92. 92 vitamins and minerals. I crack myself up. Anyway, so let's keep going. Ten of Pentacles with this Two of Wands, that's a 12, which means there's divine intervention because someone is definitely trying to lead the public astray, especially because they want to make themselves look like the leader. They want to look like the fruitful leader, but these black boots are not fitting any damn thing. You're trying to walk over people, but you got to make sure these are your steps, okay? We've got black cat energy. So somebody tried to invoke a lot of different deities, a lot of different spirits, and whatever. They tried to cast illusions upon the people, and the people are looking like, walk that shit back, because things ain't came out like you said they were. So there's a Virgo, whether it's a man or a woman, they wanted to be seen as the leader, and they had to walk that shit back because where did you lead the pack? We ain't getting down with that. Okay, so like I said, divine intervention, and that is the Virgo reading. Go to God. He has mercy, not me. All right, so let's keep it going. Come on, Libra, with the old funky tail. What's going on? Why did I say you were funky? Did you wash? Have you washed lately? Okay, so we got the Death and Transformation King of Wands. So embarrassing. It's so embarrassing when I pick you up and this is what happens. Damn, and you're under judgment too? Pick a struggle. Shit. We've got 1320. I don't know what that means. 2013. 2013. I'm getting to you, baby. 2013. 2013. What happened in 2013? I'm looking at the numbers right here, babes. I'm so sorry. It's here right there. You see that 20? You see that man with the burning stick? Ooh. And then we've got this 13, Death and Transformation. I don't think I want to explain these cards. I think these cards do exactly what they need to do. It says 2013, the man with the burning stick, under judgment, death and transformation. Need I say more? I want to step away from that. Ew. 33. We have hit an ascension. We've hit so much truth, it's almost ignorant. I said almost. I'm such a fool. Okay, so that got said the way that got said. And I mean that got said like huge. And then we've got the Five of Pentacles. So someone definitely found themselves out in the cold after that big one. And that was the Libra. Yo, I'm scared over here because I'm calling these cards like shit. And that was Scorpio. So there's a Libra Scorpio that's definitely under that 2013 judgment. Whatever you did in 2013, that damn. Or whatever led you to this in 2026. Yeah, let me get out of there. Yikes. All right, so whatever happened, I flipped the cards because this was at the bottom and then the Lovers popped out. So somebody used a lot of Lovers, and where they at right now, they definitely did not want to be. And they started back in 2013, or this was when it got real serious. Whatever happened in 2013. Serve your ass right. Anyway, let's keep going. Scorpio, what's up? What it is? Que pasa? There was Scorpio energy in that Libran energy. Take what resonates, sun, moon, rising. That's what it was, and that's what it is. Damn. But the number was 33. Take solace in that. That not only have they probably ascended into their knowledge, but they also know that they're the reason why things are the way they are. And they can't be outraged or clutch at no pearls because they're the ones who sold them. Never cast your pearls among swine. That part. Okay, so Scorpio, here we go with this binding energy here, and then we've got justice, and then we've got the moon. Okay, so we've got Gemini, Libra, and Pisces here on the board. Usual suspects, no doubt. All right, we still got this binding energy. We've got justice, and we've got the moon. So intuitively, during the moon cycle, someone stayed up and they were thinking about this all night. It was on their mind. It was running around. If you think you're lonely now, oh yeah, wait until tonight, girl. Oh, you better think it tonight. Yeah, baby, wait until tonight, girl. I be long gone. Yes, I will. Take what resonates. So we got the 8 of Swords, we got the Justice, and we've got the 18, which is the moon. We got 18 twice, which makes that a 36. Wow. 36 turns that into the 9. Are we still doing this 369 method? Because it seems to be falling out in Scorpio. Okay, so 8, 11, that's 19 plus 18. So that turns into a 37. My bad, I missed one. A 37, which makes that a 10. Still making us complete this cycle, but it does change things now, doesn't it? It does change things from the 369 method to basically just getting the shit done. All right, just getting it done and closing out cycles and wrapping it up. Something that a lot of y'all don't know how to do is wrap it up. And this is why some of you got kids you didn't want, and some of you guys got diagnoses that you didn't want because you don't know how to wrap it up. It's much cheaper to wrap it up than it is to not wrap it up because you end up paying higher bills, like child support, alimony, the clinic at the corner, and a prescription for the meds. So it is indeed cheaper to just wrap it up, not keep her. Because some of you guys got some weird ideas about trying to keep somebody down. All right, so yeah, that was the Scorpio reading. That's the Gemini binded. That's the Gemini energy binding you to whatever contract that you give, because the world likes to give you exactly what you sow. So definitely somebody has sold a binding contract and they bind it to whatever they said. All right, you're binded to your decisions, and justice came through. You are allowed to have free speech. However, freedom is not guaranteed after such a speech. Boom. All right, wake up. All right, so then we've got the moon. Somebody intuitively knows. They have in their mind, even though they might get caught up in the night vapors, but it is what it is. When the sun comes out, everything gets exposed again. So here we are. You have to learn how to balance what you got going on. All right, so that has been what it's been said, and it turned into a 37, which is fulfillment of the wish. Someone decided to make a decision, and now they have to deal with it. It is what it is. You make your bed, you lie in it. You're going to have to roll over and find yourself a soft spot. Get comfortable there. All right, so now Sagittarius, here we are. Here we are with the true archer. The archer tries to shoot for truth. They tried to shoot for truth. But the different thing about a Sagittarius is, even though they will manipulate truth, there will be truth in something. They will manipulate it, though, depending on the Sagittarius that you're dealing with. They love to give you fragmented truth, because if they gave you the whole truth, then they can't recant anything. So they'll like to manipulate it in a lot of different directions. So we got the 5 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups, and then we've got the 7 of Wands, which turns that from 12 10. That's a 22. So someone messed up their foundation and they're out in the cold and someone's getting their 10 of cups and someone's very guarded about it. Okay, so yeah, this really is really simple. This was Taurus, Leo, and Pisces. The Leo energy is very guarded. The Pisces energy is getting wish fulfillment. And the Five of Pentacles, which is the Taurus energy, is out in the cold energy. So someone's out in the cold, wish fulfillment, guarded. Basically, it just said what it said. Somebody got left out of the cold or somebody's wish fulfillment, and now they're guarded. Everybody's guarded. Both the person that's in the cold, that's left out in the cold, and the person that's got the wish fulfillment. Because everybody's got to protect themselves, right? Right. It all depends on who was the danger. All right. So we've got a 5 and a 10 and a 7. Like I said, this is a 22. So this is foundational. Somebody's foundation has left them out in the cold, and someone's foundation has given them true wish fulfillment. And now they understand that they have to guard their foundation. Now the person that's out in the cold, they understand that they have to guard themselves, because whatever they got themselves into, now they have to protect themselves. They have to keep their head on a swivel because they don't know how they got themselves in such a situation. It's called not making proper decisions and being led astray, or allowing yourself to be led astray without doing your proper research. Okay, so yeah, that is Taurus and Pisces and Leo. Why are you making such a noise? There you go. We started off in Aries. Okay, so boom, that's that. Ah, recycling has passed. Just listening to the big mechanisms. The truck that, it makes me think of a mammoth sometimes, the way it's built. It's built like a mammoth. The trash truck is built like a mammoth in a lot of ways. A very ancient animal. Okay, so we've got Temperance and we've got the Emperor here, and we are in Capricorn right now. We just finished with that Sagittarius, but Temperance is Sagittarius energy. Emperor is leadership. So as you are establishing yourself as a leader, remember, don't be too quick to take the reins, because you don't know the shit that you're taking over. You may have to put some things to the side. You may have to sacrifice some people and the staff, because if they are used to the old leadership, they're going to undoubtedly be leaking information. So sometimes you have to go in and do a whole upheaval, and don't be afraid to fire people who actually went in to dissemble you in the first place. Get rid of them, wipe the slate clean, and move in a different and a new or direction. Because this is the thing, you don't want people on your ship that are going to poke holes and sink it. You also don't want people on your ship who already showed you that they are not loyal to themselves nor you. Stop forgiving people just because they know how to cry on signal and they know how to beg and grovel. These same people will beg and grovel in your face and then go tell somebody, damn, I got over again, and plot on your ass again. So be careful with letting people back in and recycling enemies. Do not recycle them. Throw them away. Get rid of them. Okay? All right. Temperance in the 4, that's an 18, which is a 9, which is great divine intervention, and we're loving it. Take the bull by the horns. Go in. Don't be afraid to pelier and thrust forward, okay? Go forward. Sometimes you've got to line them up like sushi. Get them out of there. Chop, 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 chop. I love a good sushi. So we had Sagittarius energy in this Capricorn reading, and there is the Emperor. And sometimes people are going to look at you and they're going to say, where's your sense of humor? But if the shit ain't funny, why are you laughing? Okay, there you go. Divine intervention. Let's go. Here's Aquarius. Here is Aquarius. Remember, we did start in Pisces, so Aquarius is the last But never the least, okay? We love our Aquariuses. We do, we do, we do. But the question is, do the Aquarius love you? We've got the moon coming out here. Oh gosh, it's questionable. Seven of cups, all right. And then we've got the ace of cups. Okay, so don't let nobody love your hand before they love your heart. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Sometimes you think it's a good idea because you've got it to give and you start giving and then you realize that this person never intended to look at your heart because your hand looks so much more attractive. And some people often act that way on purpose. They will give their hand because they don't want you to look at their heart. They want you to look at the money because that is going to be the push and pull. That is the hook and the reel in which they got you in on. However, these same individuals will get mad if you're materialistic. However, this is how they introduce themselves to you. Make it make sense. If you didn't want to be used, why did you give me your battery? You got to question some folks' motive. Yeah, this is effective communication. So, last but not least, this is Aquarius. So, this is definitely being very intuitively using your discernment and understanding a person's mechanisms, how they work. Are they materialistic or are they not? Do they have a penchant to give gifts as a way of communication? Is this person buying a position in your life or are they leveraging themselves? What is the motive of this? A lot of times a person will come in and give money, but this is the thing, you don't know why they're giving money and you don't know what the motive is in behind it. Sometimes a person will give money and then go about and say, "You're a gold digger, you're a gold digger," but they will never understand, they'll never say that they had nothing else to offer but money because they weren't a good lover, they weren't understanding, they didn't really come in to give you anything, but they need you to look like the bad guy because God forbid that the world finds out that they're a trick and that's what they've been all the time. Yeah, I said the loud part. Some people don't understand that they are a trick, but they don't want to be called out as a trick. And this goes for some men and some women. There are some women that are buying themselves into relationships. But they will go and say, "Oh, this person do this." No, baby, you was kicking out that money. You was kicking out that dough. You are a trick, babes. You's a trick. And for the man, it's the same way. Some men don't want to be seen like the way they presented themselves, but you got to call them out. If you wanted me to look at your heart, why wasn't it presented? Why don't you have feelings? Where is your heart? And some people will get upset when that's the way they lead, and then get upset when that's the way they've been followed with just their money. Use discernment. Some people will get upset with you when they actually came in to control you with money and they find out that you are way more priceless than they could have imagined. And they wanted to be the narrative that you were a trick. And then they find out that they can't give you that. They can't give you that title because you were never the trick. So they want to sully your reputation. Well, that goes both ways. Why were you over there if you thought that person was a trick? You like prostitutes. And some guys will never admit that they prefer a prostitute because they like to control people with money. They will present themselves in all sorts of ways, even in church, not even admitting to themselves, you like prostitutes. You like men that like money more than love. Some men don't want to admit that they are the male prostitutes in which they tried to turn a lot of women into. It's just that they don't ask for money. They just ask for all your food that costs money and ask for a place on your couch that kind of costs money and ask for a spot in your house that kind of costs money. So you take what resonates. Some people don't understand that trick baby, trick baby. A lot of us are just trick babies. One way or another depends on the picture and how it was turned. Somebody got tricked and somebody got treated. It's a hard knock life.
All right, so that's been us with Nix, and hope you understand. Birds of a feather will definitely flock together. Watch out for the birds. And somebody's a Bama. Don't come for me, because somebody paid and sent you. What? I've been trying to end this live and you won't let me. This is crazy. Nobody lets me. I've been trying to end it. I guess I gotta sit here until the button lets me button. The button is not allowing me to button.